And good afternoon, everybody. Chris Bartell here from the Cascade Pacific Council. We're here with our Wednesday webinar, and we're going to chat today about how we scout here in the Cascade Pacific Council. Going to give you some stats and facts and just some interesting things as we've just got a lot of recruiting events happening and a lot of folks out there talking about scouting and just all the amazing activities that we get to do here in scouting. So I'm going to give you some a web page that you get to share with folks and just some great information about scouting that you can share with everybody. It's going to be really fantastic. But first, we're going to go into a little bit of the latest and greatest news around here around the Cascade Pacific Council. So let's just dive in here. Some great events and deadlines, just things of that nature I just want you to be aware of here. So let's dive in real quick here. Tomorrow night, we have the Cascade Pacific Council Summit and District Roundtable. So don't forget that. You're actually going to get an email with all of the links for those. And so please join us for that. You'll get even more news and a deep dive into some of the latest and greatest that's happening around the Cascade Pacific Council. Great place to connect for those of you who are leaders in scouts or new to scouting. Just a great way to connect with other leaders and hear your answers to your questions and just ask questions. Just a really great way to connect with folks there. Also on October 15th through 17th, that's this weekend, the World Scouting Jamboree on the Internet and Jamboree on the Air is happening. You can check that out at scouting.org. Also, the 21st is the Summer of Service deadline. So for those of you who have done community service projects and whatnot and have gone to scouting.org/summer of service. The deadline for submitting that is October 21st. So don't forget that. Also, November 1st, the summer camp lost and found. If you're still looking for that water bottle or the t-shirt or whatever it is, don't forget to ping us on that. You can find all the links to this, of course, on our website, and you can also get the links in your email that we'll be sending out to you. For those of you in the Cascade Pacific Council, you'll get an email for that. For those of you who camped with us this summer and are not in the Cascade Pacific Council, you can just go to our website and do a little search for Lost and Found, or go under the Adventures tab there, and you'll get the information there. You can just fill out the form and tell us what you're missing. Also, November 6th, virtual University of Scouting is happening. We're doing a lot of promotions for that. You'll see on Facebook, we're just introducing all of our fantastic teachers, our course leaders. I'm going to dive into that in just a minute here. Just some really great stuff we're going to share with you, and I'll show you how to do that. So also November 11th and on December 9th, we also have, of course, our district roundtables and the Cascade Pacific Council as well. So don't forget that. What the heck is University of Scouting? Well, by golly, let's find out, shall we? It is 70 courses. I'm actually going to go to the website here in just a second. We'll just give you a little synopsis of what you're going to see. It's really fantastic. You're welcome to join in. If you're an adult in scouting and you just want to dive in, learn more, or just become a better leader, this is the way to do it. I know when I first joined the Cascade Pacific Council here as your marketing guy, and I'd been involved in scouts and experienced my first University of Scouting, I was shocked, amazed, blown away. It was actually in person back then 2 years ago, but of course we went virtual last year and it worked out great. So we're doing it virtual again this year, and it is just fantastic. We're going to just show you that here. If you go to the CPC website, so if you go to cpcbsa.org/University of Scouting, you'll go here. And what's really great is you'll have a little bit of a synopsis as to what it all is, of course, and you can actually scroll down here onto the page, and it's loading a little slow because I'm on Zoom, of course. So little technical difficulties here on the on my PC, but just click this register today. And you can link to our this is where we're actually hosting the virtual University of Scouting. So you can actually see this. You'll register here, and you can get a synopsis of all of the great courses that are being taught. You can actually check it out here under agenda, and you can see all of the courses here. It's really amazing. As I said, it's running a little bit slow here because we're doing this through Zoom, and we're throwing it on Facebook here as well at the same time. So the computer's having a little bit of an issue. But what's great is you can actually choose from about 7 courses. It's 6 plus if you want to do one at lunch. So you can check it out. You just scroll through here, and you can scroll through and see all the different classes. It is absolutely fantastic. You'll meet all of our teachers, our instructors, our volunteers who are helping out and doing this. There are about 40 leaders and volunteers who are diving in and ready to teach. It is just amazing, and we are so grateful for those who are helping us here, and for the crew who set this up, for Jennifer and Mike for setting this up. It's just fantastic. So you basically there's just tons of things for Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA and older Scouts. Just some fantastic things, everything from backpacking and Dutch oven cooking to emotional intelligence. I mean, just some really wonderful courses here. And like I said, they're basically kind of 6 tracks, kind of one for every hour. Plus you can dive in at lunch if you want to do that too. And again, this is all virtual. So it's incredible. You really get an incredible day, and it's a whole $5. So you really can't beat that. So you can just do one class, you could do 2, you could do 7 if you want. So just dive on in here. You can see there's, like I said, there's everything from backpacking and marketing your unit, which I'll be teaching. There's camping. There's how to be inclusive in scouting. There's women in the wilderness here. It's just a really a great session that we're going to have. So please join us for that at cpcbsa.org/University of Scouting. That's what that is all about. Let me go back and present the screen here. So jump into there. Also, just want to give you a heads up to start saving the date for Wood Badge. Next year's Wood Badge is going to be September 13th through 17th at Camp Clark. So check that out at cpcbsa.org/Wood Badge. Registration's not open yet, but you can get kind of a synopsis of what's going on, or check it out on Facebook. Everybody's been talking about our last course. That's really great. Also, World Jamboree is June 1st through 12th in Korea. So that's World Jamboree. Check that out at you can see here 2023 wsjkorea.org. Also, the National Jamboree is July 19th through 28th of 2023. And so check that out. I should have put here on the Korea one. On the World Jambo, it's actually 2023. So check that out as well. And also, don't forget the reservations are now open for weekend horse rides and winter camping. You should try and get in the lottery for that. And because everybody's filling out the form to get in the lottery for winter camping. Also, summer camp for 2022 on Scouts BSA is actually, registrations are now open. You can start reserving that, and summer camp for Cub Scouts will be happening soon as well. Couple other quick things here. Scout Shop is having some great deals, 20% off on new camping gear for the whole family, and also 25% off uniform bottoms when you purchase a top. So check that out at cpcbsa.org/Scout Shop and check it out. It's some great stuff. It's amazing. If you've never been to the Scout Shop, stop on by, because we've got backpacks and all the gear you need, and the books, of course, and all the awards and everything. It's just fantastic. And the team there is ready to help you out. Also, if you're doing some community service and continuing to do so, please order one of these great banners, and we'd love to have you put them up around town when you're doing community service at cpcbsa.org/recruiting. You can get a link there to order the banner like this, and some other recruiting materials as well. And don't forget, for those of you who are interested in launching a new website for your Scout unit, we've got this great offer from the folks at Wix for basically half price. It's really a neat deal, and it's super easy to create this. We're asking units to pre-register for this at cpcbsa.org/Wix. That's WIX. And what'll happen is it'll redirect you to the actual page, and you'll fill out the little form here. It's just a pre-registration. We need a bunch of units to sign up for this so that we can kickstart it, get it in gear, and sign up for this great program. We're trying to get 100 units to join in on that, so then we can get this deal. So there you go for that. And let's see, next for our upcoming webinar next week, we're going to be talking about the camping team has been going gangbusters, have some awesome plans for 2022. Just camping opportunities abound. So please join us for next week's Wednesday webinar. Of course, as always, we record these, and you can watch them or listen to them at any time. We do an audio version of it as well. And so you can get that too. At cpcbsa.org, and we've got a little link there on the homepage. You can see the latest webinars there. All right. Well, what I wanted to talk about today was just give you a quick little deep dive here into some stats and facts. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of new families, interested scouts, and a lot of times it's really easy to kind of forget that I know when I'm in my scout unit, when I'm with my troop, it's hard to remember, we've got a whole bunch of other units out there, Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Adventure Crews, and Sea Scouts out there doing some amazing things around the community. And we kind of forget that this is actually a big, big organization we have here in the Cascade Pacific Council, with thousands and thousands of scouts and volunteers and leaders. And what's really neat, and I think it's really important that we share the story of impact. I mean, we all know the personal impact, and we'll talk a little bit about that too, but just the impact that we get to have throughout the community is really, really, really incredible. It's really unlike anything else out there, I think, and across the scouting organizations. And so it's really, really fantastic. Just as a reminder, and so what we're going to talk about today is just a couple of quick facts, and I'm going to share with you a webpage that you can send people to at cpcbsa.org/impact. It's a place where we keep things up to date in terms of usually it's kind of like an annual report, but of course we're near the end of the year, so we'll keep it up to date with some of the stats and facts. But basically, just so you know, we have nearly 9,000 youth and 6,000 adults who scout with us on an ongoing basis. It's really, really incredible. And this last year, we had 4,000 scouts and 2,000 adults and staffers come to summer camp. I mean, that's really pretty amazing. And what an honor to get to do that, to have all of those kids and adults get to experience camping a lot of times for the first time. And so we kind of forget that. Also, just with community service projects for Eagle Scout projects alone, last year during COVID, now we're talking about 2020, because this is when we recap all of the numbers for the previous year. So we don't have 2021 numbers in yet, but just imagine this. So during COVID, when everything else was shut down, Eagle Scouts were persevering and continuing to work on their projects and conducted about 72,000 hours of community service. I mean, that number, to me anyway, alone is just really incredible, that we could share that with people, and that we can really connect with other community organizations and help them out. So it's really fantastic. I mean, so what I'm going to share with you now is the cpcbsa.org/impact page. Let's go there. And let me just log out of WordPress here, because that looks a little goofy. So we'll go back to cpcbsa.org/impact. Okay. And what will happen is it'll redirect you to the actual page where you have some of these stats and facts and whatnot. And it's a great place to direct folks and give them a little synopsis as to what's been going on here, especially during COVID. I mean, it's really impressive. We've had a really incredible opportunity to pivot, as so many organizations did. But it's funny, as an organization who, as you all know, is very tactile. We're out in the woods, we're adventuring, we're learning things with our hands, and we're tying knots and all these great things. And by golly, we had to go virtual. Now, I know it was a little crazy for a lot of us, but by golly, what's amazing is that we all, in scouting, you all showed grit, and it was so, so impressive. And I think it's a great story to share with folks about just the grit that was shared throughout the Cascade Pacific Council, throughout the local community. So in this page at cpcbsa.org/impact, we talk about when the world shut down, we showed grit. And it's so, so true that you all out there in scouting just kept on going. And so what we have here is we tell a little, trying to keep it short and sweet, but tell a little bit about the story of what we've been up to. That, of course, many of you have seen this video about what have you been up to during the pandemic. And then remember that other folks haven't seen these. So it's really good for us to be able to share these stories with people, that by golly, we were out there safely scouting and doing things in the community in a positive way, unlike so many other organizations. So it was really, really great. We also, of course, developed the programs during 2020, and I know it's can now feel kind of like old news in terms of, because now we're in 2021 and we're like getting back to scouting, but it's really, I think, such an interesting and fantastic story to be able to share with people, that we kept safely at it in scouting, and we kept these kids going and adventuring, and families got to camp with us, and it was such a great experience. So we share a couple of the stories that were around town here, of course, too. And the other thing that I think is really neat to share, and I talked about a few of these stats already, but basically, just at a glance, it shows to people who have never heard this before, just some of the great things that we do in the community. On 2020 Community Impact here, it talks a bit about the numbers. Folks can then, of course, download the impact report, we call it, kind of like a mini annual report, just kind of talks about some of the stats and facts. And it's good to see like the actual numbers and just the incredible impact we all get to have, because it's a great way to invite others to join us in this thing that we get to do together. Also, we keep in here the 2019 because it is interesting to see the change when we're in a non-COVID year, and to see how much impact we have. I think it's important to see, like, you know what, we just kept at it when everything else shut down. We kept at it, but in normal year, this is what it looks like. It's really, really amazing the amount of impact that we have, whether it's the more than 100,000 hours of community service and food collected and all of that. The other neat thing to share here that you'll see on this page is the personal impact, which is going to come back down to personal stories that you share with folks too. But it's really a great opportunity to share some of the real impact that happens when kids stick it out and become Eagle Scouts and really strive for that goal, and the personal impact it can have. And so we share some of the statistics here. For instance, that 96% of Eagle Scouts believe scouting had a positive impact on their life. Of course, we all know that because we're in Scouts, right? And the academic impact is that 39% of Scout alums have postgraduate degree versus 12% of the general population. So there's some comparisons here that are kind of interesting, I think. Financial impact, that 40% of Eagle Scouts have a $100,000 household income versus 10% of our local Scouts, or our local area graduates and whatnot, and youth. And the impact from a character perspective is that 94% of parents say Cub Scouts has encouraged their kids to help others. Now, I know we all know this, but it is neat to see. This all came from a Benefits of Scouting study that was done by the Boy Scouts of America. So some really good stats. So hopefully this helps out. If you want to share a page with people besides the grit page that we've all been talking about for so long, if we want to share the story about grit at cpcbsa.org/grit and let people get an adventure kit for their kids and whatnot. But if you have people in the community that are also just wondering, what else? What do you really do? Some people even tell us these days, and it's funny because we're all Scouts, those of you who are watching, is that people say, scouting is still around. And of course, those of us who have been involved for a long time or have kids who have been involved and are now graduated out of it, we say, yeah, we're still here. And so it's funny to hear that sometimes, but it's an opportunity for us to share that, we're not only still around, we're doing some really amazing things here in the community. So anyway, so feel free to share this with folks at cpcbsa.org/impact. It'll direct them there. And of course, cpcbsa.org/grit to get their free adventure kit. That's a fun one too. So anyway, what I wanted to share that with you today, and it's just a really great reminder, I think, of just some of the impact. And of course, the next step is really to share your story with people. It's so important, and to be able to share that. And really, I'm going to give you an example here because it's really fun, and it's oftentimes we can kind of forget that the great impact that we have in the community, of course, but of course that personal story is really great. And I chatted with Troop 615's Scoutmaster over at summer and this summer, and just he gave me a really great story, and I just thought I would share that with you today. Let me turn on the sound here. We'll go to that next here.
We had one scout that was falling behind on the way to a program event. And so this other scout said, hey guys, hey, so-and-so is falling back. We gotta stick with them, right? Let's help him up, or help him along. And so they all came back and walked with that scout that was behind, encouraged him, kept him going. And that right there is excuse me, sorry. It's just proud of my scouts when they do that. So that's why we're here, right? We're all in this together. We're all family. We're brothers and sisters in Scout. So that's what we want to see. We want to see our Scouts looking out for each other. So that was my proudest moment at summer camp so far, especially coming from one of our youngest scouts.
Such a great reminder, and of course we all know this, and we see it when we're in scouts. We see it with the younger scouts, we see it with the older scouts, and it is such a great reminder of something, an organization where we get to have these older kids teach younger kids and bring them along. And what a unique and wonderful opportunity we have to get to do that. And let's see here, let's see if this next one plays here. This is pretty new here. Let's see if it
My
goes.
favorite adventures were the high adventure tier 3 activities, some with the troop and some with the crew. I've been on a few 50-mile backpacking trips. Those were amazing. You get to see some really cool things, and you get to bond with the scouts who go. It's really great. But my favorite was an 80-mile kayaking trip. We did a little bit of the Willamette River, and we just had an awesome time. It took just a few days, and we stopped at some places and just pull up to eat whenever we wanted to. It was a great experience.
Probably my favorite is now that I can take both of my kids. It's so wonderful that we're all packing up together. We're laughing, joking in the car. We're having campfires together, and so anytime I can take both of these kids, it's my favorite.
I think campouts are probably my favorite. You get a lot done and you're having a lot of fun, and it's so great. You learn a lot, and I'm really thankful for that. I plan to eagle, and before then, I'd like to do the 80-mile kayaking. I heard about how Wyatt did it, and that sounds really fun. Same with 50-mile backpacking. I haven't done that, and that would be really great to do.
I love the experience. The people in my troop are awesome, and I love meeting new people on the bigger events, like the council events. I just have a fun time teaching the scouts, or the younger scouts, how to do new things. Today it's our new scout camp out, so we got to teach them all kinds of stuff. I really like the experience. I've liked it since I joined, and that's why I'm sticking around.
I look forward to the scouting events so much. Even the meetings when we're on a Zoom call, it's really fun, and when you're on a camp out, it is kind of like an escape. I'm not worrying about anything else that's going on at home, and it's so different, and I love it so much.
Such a great example of just the story we get to share, and it really is just a great reminder. I think just thank you so much to the Zagaiva family for sharing that with us, and because it's such a great reminder that we get to share this and do it with our families. And speaking of which, I'm going to end today's webinar with just this video. Kind of, I think it captures just a bit about what we've experienced over this last year, and just the opportunity we have as scouts to share this with other people and other families, and bring families into it, and it's just a fantastic opportunity to bring more youth into scouting, to see them grow and blossom and change. And anyway, just want to end this with this here webinar today with this little final video. You'll end up seeing more of this video too as the year goes on, but it's kind of a fun recap of just some of the adventures we've had in 2021 in the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to join us for next Wednesday's webinar. We'll talk about all the great camping opportunities that we have around the CPC, so we will see you then, and we'll end today with this last video here.